So, Mike, you're asking, is he being treated fairly?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. And if he did truly sexually assault or rape any of these women, or even just one, he's a disgusting, reprehensible person, as is anyone who commits those crimes. My point is, though, and I do feel like you can't make this argument without being looked at as someone who's not sensitive to female victims, is that, you know, when people are falsely accused of any type of sexual act, whether or not they committed that claim sticks with them for the rest of their life. I personally know a guy who was falsely claimed, and then his accuser came out 10 years later and said that he did not commit this crime, that she was just angry and had an axe to grind. But that still affected him for the entirety of his life, well into his 40s. And I'm not making excuses for him, nor am I making excuses for anybody that actually commits any type of sexual assault.
Got it.
My point being that if this woman was truly a victim, carrying around a mattress doesn't do much except for make her, an attention.
Except, I'll let your Erica, you, and then Vanessa. But Erica, you go ahead. But I will say, except that we are having the conversation. I think that's the important thing. That this thing stay in front of people.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Erica.
Yes, yeah, Mike, I love you, but I think you're more coming from a personal place with your friend. Absolutely, this mattress gives this woman a voice. She didn't have one before. And I wanted to also say that women who are victims of sexual crime often don't say it right away. They're very ashamed, and it takes some time. So we shouldn't be using it against her that it took her a year to report it, or even 5 years or 6 years. It takes a while. I want to say that first. And second, like you said, the guy was not, found guilty of anything. So if it wasn't for this mattress she was carrying around, nobody would hear her voice. So I'm pretty sure that this is something.
All right, and I was bringing up the time frame and the way that was all reported more from the sense of her ability to get justice from all this. I think it's sort of the ship has kind of sailed in terms of ability to get justice out of this, but we'll see. Vanessa, go ahead.
I mean, it's unfortunate that we think that she doesn't have a leg to stand on anymore just because of time, because it's been proven year and year again that women don't report it immediately. And she told her campus, and her campus shut it down. Then she still told the police, and they're shutting her down.
Yeah, well, but Vanessa, maybe there's something to be learned here. Again, the conversation is what's important. And I would say, this is what I would think, you know, Vanessa, you tell me if I'm wrong here, that if a woman believes she may have been raped, there's no harm. It's probably uncomfortable, I understand. But there's these things called forensic examinations where they collect all the data, and you go to the emergency room, and these social workers sees you, and this is just something they do. It's not that big a deal to them. And there may or may not be a police report, but at least you have the data done so that later people can't say, well, what are you talking about? You can't remember what shoes you're wearing that night, let alone can we get any facts on this case. Vanessa?
Well, in her case, there could have been things there, but like she said before, she had consented before. And even that night, she had partially consented that night that it happened.
Partially consented? What does that mean?
Because in the beginning of the act, she was okay, and then he took it too far. He strangled her. He pushed her to the ground. He knocked her on her forearm, on her knees, on her forearms, and she was scared, and she cried out, and she said, no, not anymore, I'm done, and he didn't stop. And so there's that gray area where he probably thinks...
That's not gray. It's a sexual assault.
For him, he probably thinks this is like fun and foreplay, and they're getting it on, and she's screaming no, but he's in the middle of the act. And so she's ashamed, she's scared, she knows people aren't going to believe her. People are questioning her now.
Ladies,
and so that's why they wait, and they're confused, and they don't know what their next step is.
All of you ladies are very smart people, and I would never want you guys to have to experience any of this. But if you were to, wouldn't you think that there's other
whatever's
ways...
going to come out of your mouth next, it scares me.
No, I was going to say, wouldn't you think that there's other ways to create just as much attention with a lot more purpose than carrying around something as big and large on a campus? I mean, if she were to handcuff herself to the administrative building and not leave until she was going to receive her quote-unquote justice.
Old-fashioned, Mike. Old-fashioned.
My point being is that clearly she was motivated also by some of her artistic endeavors. I mean, this is clear.
She knows how to do it.
You use the voice that you have. I'm on TV, so if I wanted to bring attention to a cause, I would say it on the Dr. Drew Show. She does her visual art, and that's her medium.
All right.